Well, black-owned small businesses are having trouble accessing the government's emergency paycheck protection program loans. Some point to systemic issues.
Earlier this week, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley called on the Treasury Department to disclose the race and ethnicity of the business owners applying for these loans. The Congressional Black Caucus is calling for more transparency with the program. And joining us tonight is Ron Busby, the president of the U.S. Black Chambers. Welcome to the show.
Great to be on your show this evening.
Well, can you tell us what can black business owners? We're happy to have you. What can black business owners do if they feel like they're being left out of these programs?
It's a great question, and so many of our businesses across the country are asking the same question. We heard that of the $349 billion that was allocated during the first round, that literally $250 billion of that was awarded to 50 publicly traded firms. So the dollars that were there determined for black and small and minority-owned businesses went to some of the largest, most successful companies in America. What we can do now is to really, one, voice our concerns, which I'm glad to say that the U.S. Black Chamber is supporting, but more importantly, we can now get ready for this next round of funding, be prepared, establish good banking relationships so that we can be in front of the line. In this last conversation, those people that had the banking relationships early on were the folk that were able to establish a good banking relationship and get funded. So many of our small businesses did not find out about the opportunity until the 11th hour. Then they had to get in line, fill out the documentation, and establish a banking relationship, all within that same time period that other businesses that we were competing against already had those banking relationships. And so for us, we're telling folks, let's be proactive. We know that the majority of the money, even in the second round, has already been allocated, but we can find pockets where there is success, and that's what we're trying to concentrate on now.
And sir, are you seeing any kind of help as far as oversight is concerned in Washington to make sure that these funds are going to be allocated to minority businesses and businesses owned by women at some point in the future at least?
I want people to understand during the first round and throughout this piece of legislation, the word black or African American was never discussed. This was really a small business package to keep employers and their employees intact. What we needed to do and what we are doing now is to allocate those dollars specifically to our businesses that are the backbone of this country. And so you found organizations like the U.S. Black Chamber at the table advocating on behalf of our businesses, our communities, and as well as our customers to ensure that we have our piece of this pie. We understand that between 35 and 40% of all the black businesses may not get through this pandemic. We are in primary 4 industries that are being hit the hardest, from hospitality to transportation to construction to retail, as well as churches are being hit. That's where about 40% of all of the black revenue for our businesses are determined. And when those industries are being specifically hit, it is hard for the rest of America, of black America, to have prosperity as well.
So Ron, I want to ask you, you are the president of the U.S. Black Chambers. How is your organization being affected by this? And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, the U.S. Black Chamber was founded in 2009 based upon 5 key pillars. Advocacy, which we're doing here in Washington, D.C. every day, fighting on behalf of black businesses. Access to capital, which is the primary concern of all small businesses. If you ask the black businesses, their number 3 concern. Contracting opportunities, that's from the federal government, from the private sector, as well as where black people are spending that trillions of dollars that we talk about every day. Entrepreneurial training to make sure that our businesses have the resources and the acumen, not just to get through this, but to have prosperity when we come out. And lastly, about chamber development. We've been at the table making sure that our business concern is being heard, as we are known as the voice of black business. We are in 142 chambers around the country in 42 different states with a membership of over 322,000 businesses. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can find a black business through our network. If you are a black business, we would love to have you as part of our network so we can continue to improve our communities across the country.
You know, I can remember, and I don't know if it's still in circulation these days, but there used to be a publication called the Black Pages, where you could find black businesses and support those black businesses in your community and in your neighborhood and in your city. Is there something like that still in convention, or is there some sort of tool online that people can go to find out that information?
There very certainly is. In today's technology, it is all about access. The number one concern that corporate America has is not doing more business with black business owners is they can't find them, and or they don't have the size and the scale. And so the U.S. Black Chamber several years ago created our own business directory. You can find that online. It's free of charge. You can use it on your app, on your phone through a mobile app. There are 114,000 black-owned businesses there. It's GPS-driven, so that we can direct our dollars to stay within our communities. We've done it in the past. It's more important to do it today than ever before. Again, the trillions of dollars that we talk about usually aren't black businesses and black people talking about that. There's usually someone from outside of our community saying black people have $1 trillion to spend. How can we market to them? We have to change the conversation to say we have $1 trillion. How can we keep that in our community so that we have sustainability long term as well as throughout this process?
Good point, Ron, and we don't have a lot of time left, but really quick, I want to get your take on starting a new business, because obviously we know that the world is changing. We have to reinvent ourselves. Are you encouraging people to start up new businesses to perhaps address some of the new things that people will need following this pandemic?
Most definitely. You will see each week the U.S. Black Chamber will take on one of those sectors to talk about a few things. Here are some of the challenges that restaurants are having, beauty salons are having, nightclubs, and we will do a few things. We will talk about the challenges as well as the policy that's written to be able to offset those challenges, and more importantly, talk about the future of those industries. As we talk about 35 to 40% of our businesses going under, that really is an opportunity for us to do a couple things. Acquire existing firms where we have the opportunity. Let's merge firms so that we can grow in size and scale. And for those folks that are being forced to stay home over the next couple of months, that had that great business idea that they've been sitting on, now is a great opportunity to spend the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, and put that on paper. Determine what a good business plan would look like. Establish those banking relationships now so that we do have credit, so that we can, during this next round and this next pandemic, be involved in the finances that can come back to our communities. And so we look forward to your members finding out more information at the usblackchambers.org on how to participate in the current economy as well as the ones that are coming down the pike.
All right, Ron, thank you so much. We appreciate that advice.
Thank you for your time. You're welcome back anytime, sir. Ron Busby.